The following has been brought to you by RockSolidFanClub.ca.
Yo, this is the law. This is the law. This is the law. Let's fucking do this shit.
Putting on two events in Vegas around the exact same time, around the exact same venue. You could literally walk to, when one fight's over, you could walk and watch another one, to walk back to watch the other one, to walk back and watch the other one. What is going on with UFC and boxing? September 14th. Fill us in.
There's a lot going on with boxing and a lot going on with the UFC. So it would seem, all right, it would seem that on September 14th, we all know that the UFC has been working towards doing an event in the Sphere, right? And they finally managed to get it, and they've got the Sphere, and it's Mexican independence, and they're going to celebrate all of that stuff. And what better way? They've got the Riyadh season, as it's being called, the Riyadh season Noche UFC. Noche being nighttime. And of course, we're going to celebrate Mexican heritage by having Sean O'Malley and Merab Davishvili at the top of the card. I don't know if that was the greatest thing, but okay. Listen, I'm here for that fight all day long. But in the co-main event, we're gonna get back at this, and we're gonna have Shevchenko and Grasso,
which is the real main event. That's the real main event.
Yes. And you're going to have the rematch, hopefully, with Brian Ortega, Diego Lopez, which, you know, we got screwed out of that one that turned into just wackiness. And Diego Lopez, stud of all studs.
Can I make a prediction that you're going to fucking hate?
That it doesn't happen again?
Ortega's not going to make it.
No, come on now.
I think Ortega's got I think there's an injury bug with him, unfortunately.
Interesting.
I hope I'm wrong. Because I do want to see that fight, but I don't know. I haven't seen Ortega fight since when? 2022?
What was the last one, when he got boxing lessons in the middle of a fight?
I think it was 22. Yeah. And before that was a pretty big layoff as well, right? So like, I don't know. I feel like Ortega is it's almost like watching an Evan Tanner fight. Like, it seems like some vintage shit.
Yeah. Listen, I'm all for it, because every time Brian Ortega is going to show up, there's no doubt about it. But after watching what Diego Lopez is capable of doing, man, I can't bet against him in this fight. No. There's no way as hell. You're also going to get Raul Rosas Jr., you know, he's back on this card, and starting it off is Norma Dumont and Irene Aldana. So, I mean, they're doing a good job. They're representing Mexican heritage. They've got some great fights lined up for that. And then just down the road, literally at the Thomas and Mack Center, Thomas and Mack. Listen to me. I'm so old that I haven't been in that city in such a long time. In the T-Mobile Arena.
It's the Thomas and Mack Center, bro. Come on, man.
Well, the Thomas and Mack Center is where the UNLV Rebels and all of those guys play, and that is not where they're doing this. In the T-Mobile Arena, they've got a Canelo fight in Las Vegas. And, you know, you've got Canelo Alvarez and Berlanga is fighting. Berlanga is a much taller dude than Alvarez, but it's not the fight that should have been picked. You know what I mean? Everybody knows that the fight that should have been picked should have been Benavidez. Yeah. Or even, you know, Morrell. Somebody.
Benavidez is the fight.
That's the fight everybody wants to see. Now, let's take a look at what else is on this card to go up against UFC down the street. You've got Erislandy Lara against Danny Garcia, a 36, 37-year-old Danny Garcia against a 41-year-old Lara.
Not the Garcia everybody talks about.
Well, listen, it's been a minute, and I don't care. I don't care how old you might think that Lara is. He's gonna make Danny Garcia know that Danny Garcia is in a damn fight that night. Yep. Looking forward to that one. As well, Caleb Plant is returning. And you'd think to yourself, oh, they're throwing him in this dude named Trevor McCumbee. The hell is a Trevor McCumbee, right? Trevor McCumbee happens to be 28-0. This is no
I've never heard his name before this card.
And that's the world of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, because you can have somebody who's 28, 30-0. You know what I mean? and not know who they are. For
And I'm not
player-
the most educated person on boxing, but I'm pretty good with knowing a roster and seeing a card and being like, oh, okay, I remember that fight. I remember that name. I remember that name. This is
It's not
somebody
your
I've
fault.
never heard of.
It's not your fault. It's not
Yeah.
your fault at all. It's boxing's fault.
Thank you.
Boxing hasn't made it readily available to you in such a way because there's so many different organizations, and these guys only fight maybe twice a year.
Exactly. It's hard to stay relevant.
It really is. And Rolly Romero, right, is also fighting on this card. So you've got Rolly Romero, Caleb Plant, Lara Garcia, and Canelo Alvarez going up against Sean O'Malley, Merab Dvalishvili, Grasso, Shevchenko, Ortega, Lopez, Rosas Jr., Irene Aldana, and Norma Dumont. I mean,
Well, okay, so we have two different audiences inside of boxing and UFC, and we know that MMA but there is a crossover audience that does actually exist, right? Like I would say probably half of the audience for each ends up merging and being a crossover and creates 100% of a completely different audience. This is why One Fight Championship does so well. What card do you think that draws more money?
which card is going to draw more money is going to be Alvarez. Because
Okay.
boxing draws more money because of the deals that go into place behind it. Which one is going to have more celebrities? I think that the Canelo Alvarez one is going to have a higher profile of celebrity because that's just the way that it is.
I agree.
I think the UFC is putting on a much better fight card than what you're going to see. I mean, listen, 41-year-old Lara against Garcia, Caleb Plant, who hasn't won anything. Like his last fight was against Benavidez, and he got dusted. Rolly Romero, who hasn't done anything in a couple of years either. This entire thing is literally banking on the name value of Canelo Alvarez alone. Whereas
Now-
the UFC is just going along with their normal pattern of we put on fights. And this happens to be the best available card with the best available fighters to put in this venue.
So recently announced was apparently, this is allegedly, Canelo is asking for 200 million.
That's crazy.
200 million for his next contract.
Yeah.
What is the money that you're saying that they draw and these things that they do on the back end before the bells even rung? Does that cover the amount of money that Canelo would be asking for and still leave a profit for one of these companies?
No,
like, to me, that seems like an outrageous amount of money.
Not even close. It is absolutely, it's a cash grab. You know, hey, Canelo, let's see if I got this right. Payday.
This is the law. This is the law. Let's fucking do this shit. The law.
Subscribe now for more content and combat sports discussions.
This is the law. This is the law.